Welcome to the Rosary Team Podcast. Today, we are doing a deep dive into the truly exceptional life and the ongoing cause for sainthood of a figure who is just this powerful symbol of deep faith woven together with a fierce patriotic commitment, the servant of God, Youssef Bey Karam.
It's a remarkable story. Our sources today, they really paint this picture of resistance, sanctity, and national identity, all centered on this one towering figure from 19th century Maronite and Lebanese history.
Exactly. And we're going to explore his whole journey, from being a celebrated military leader and governor to the very recent and very positive official steps being taken in the Vatican toward his beatification.
And Youssef Bey Karam, who lived from 1823 to 1889, he presents such a unique case. He wasn't a monk or a priest, but a Christian layman.
A layman.
A national resistance leader, a governor, and just a profoundly dedicated man of faith from the Maronite Church. And it's important for you to know that the Maronite Church has this unbroken loyalty to the Pope, to Rome, and deep, deep historical ties to Lebanon.
And that context is everything, isn't it? Fidelity to Rome and fidelity to his country. So our mission today is to trace his path from the battlefield all the way to the Vatican's decision in late 2025.
A great place to start is his upbringing in Eden.
Yes, let's begin there. Born in May 1823, his father was Sheikh Boutros Karam, the district governor. And the records show his education was, well, it was rigorous and very cosmopolitan.
It really was. He mastered Arabic and Aramaic, but also Italian and French. So this gave him command over classical literature, religious texts, and, the political languages of the time.
But what defines him for me, even in his early life, is this incredible synthesis of intellect, combat, and prayer.
Absolutely. He was educated in statecraft, but he was also devoted to chivalry. I mean, he was renowned for his skill in hand-to-hand combat, horse riding, shooting, a formidable figure.
And yet, this man of the sword, as the sources say, he lived an intense, disciplined life of faith.
That's right. He had this habit of attending early morning mass, always kneeling, and was deeply committed to praying the rosary. The image is so powerful. This future resistance leader perpetually wearing a blessed icon of the crucifix.
And he didn't wait very long to put that courage and faith into action. In 1845, he's only 23 years old.
Just 23.
And he confronts Ottoman troops who are trying to disarm the people of North Lebanon. He didn't just confront them, he defeated them and seized their weapons. This was a huge political statement.
And that defiance leads to one of the most incredible stories in his entire biography. The Ottoman ruler in Tripoli was, he was incensed. He placed a reward on Karam's head,
making him a wanted man.
Exactly. And this is where you see his patriotism and his personal bravery really shine.
Because instead of fleeing, he does the unthinkable.
He really does. He walks completely alone right into the Ottoman headquarters in Tripoli to confront the Pasha who put the bounty on him. It's pure moral authority.
It's an act of theater, but it's real.
Precisely. The Pasha asks if he is, in fact, Karam, and his reply just cuts right to the heart of his motivation. He essentially says, yes, I'm here, do what you want, but take the reward you offered for me and donate it to the poor.
Wow.
And his justification wasn't just political, it was moral outrage against oppression, specifically mentioning how people were mistreated in Kizerwan, where churches had been violated.
So by making it about charity and justice, he completely disarmed the Pasha.
Completely. The Pasha was so astonished by his courage that he granted him an immediate pardon. It's like he turned a death sentence into an act of social justice.
And that strong defense of Christian liberty, it just defined his leadership from then on. We see it again in 1849 with the American Protestant missionary.
We do. They sought to establish a presence in Eden, and Karam ordered them to leave immediately.
His declaration on that was unambiguous.
Very. He proclaimed, Eden is the stronghold of the true Christian faith and does not need anyone to direct its people to the path of Christ. He saw any outside religious influence as a threat to the historical Maronite faith.
And he didn't just fight external threats. He also worked to strengthen the spiritual life of his own people. In 1854, he founded the Immaculate Conception Fraternity.
Yes, and this was key to enforcing spiritual discipline. It wasn't just a social club. It focused on abolishing bad habits, enforcing a proper dress code in church, real moral reform.
All under the motto, "Blessed is the Immaculate Conception of our Holy Mother Mary, who is clear of the original sin."
It just shows that for Karam, the military uniform and proper Sunday attire were two sides of the same coin of commitment to God.
This intensity continues even as he re-enters politics. In 1857, the people appoint him ruler of Eden and Al-Jibi, But the real conflict that defined his legacy came in 1862.
Right. His total rejection of the Meta-Seraphim system. And for you listening, this system was basically an administrative structure imposed by European powers and the Ottomans. It allowed a non-native ruler, the Meta-Seraph, to govern Mount Lebanon.
So it was effectively a form of indirect foreign rule meant to manage all the sectarian tensions.
Exactly. And while the great powers intended it to stabilize the region, Karam saw it as a severe infringement on Lebanese sovereignty. His refusal to accept it earned him his first exile, but it cemented him as the champion against external control.
But exile couldn't hold him. He secretly returned in late 1864 and immediately resumed military operations.
And he was tremendously successful. The sources highlight the major Battle of Banashi, where Karam and his much smaller force defeated a massive Ottoman unit. The Battle of Sabhel was another defining moment.
But this relentless conflict, it demanded a final and just an extraordinary sacrifice. In February 1866, to spare his men from more bloodshed, he agreed to a second and final exile.
This is perhaps the moment that most strongly informs his cause for sainthood. It's that conscious sacrifice. His famous motto captures it perfectly. I shall sacrifice myself so that Lebanon may live.
That's a deeply Christian understanding of leadership. Power used for service and self-gift, not self-preservation.
Precisely. It's why he's seen as a perpetual inspiration.
He spent the rest of his life away from home, settling in Napoli, Italy in 1878, in a home he called the Villa Libanaise. And though his battles were over, his devotion just seemed to intensify.
He immediately set up a sanctuary in his new home. He turned one room into a dedicated place of worship with a wooden altar, portraits of Jesus, Mary, and St. Joseph. It was his space for prayer.
And he also founded his last spiritual work there, the St. Joseph Religious Association.
Dedicated to helping the poor, the sick, and the needy. His life transitioned seamlessly from being a soldier for his country to being a soldier for Christ.
Youssef Bey Karam is such a powerful example of uniting profound faith with patriotic action. And for those of you who want to honor his life and spirituality on this path to sainthood, there is a way to connect with his devotion. You can purchase an image, specifically the devotional wooden plaque depicting the servant of God, Youssef Bey Karam, kneeling in prayer holding his rosary by visiting rosaryteam.com. The image really captures him, a powerful visual reminder of his unwavering faith. Now let's turn to his death, and what we know now thanks to both history and some fascinating modern science. He passed away in Napoli on April 7, 1889.
And what happened next is central to the local veneration that spurred his cause. His body remains in a remarkable state of preservation. It's a complete natural mummy, kept in the Cathedral of Margurgis.
And in 2020, over 130 years after his death, it became the subject of a paleopathological analysis.
That's right, the study of ancient diseases in preserved remains. And the findings were amazing. They confirmed his historical profile, his height, around 165, 168 centimeters. But the CT images, they told us so much about his health.
What did they find?
The data was so precise. They saw multiple healed fractures, which is consistent with a life of combat. But crucially, they found lung lesions. The modern conclusion was that his condition was consistent with bronchopneumonia.
And this is where the historical connection just makes it so satisfying.
It's incredible. The researchers went into the State Archives of Naples and found his 1889 death certificate. The original surgeon, a Dr. Paolo Serre, listed the cause of death as bronchitis.
So the modern diagnosis matches the historical one.
Almost perfectly. You have two doctors, separated by more than a century, one using 19th century clinical observation, the other modern CT scans, reaching the same essential conclusion. It's a powerful scientific validation of the historical record.
That preservation, that local memory is so key, because while he died in 1889, the formal steps towards sainthood, they take time.
A very long time. The servant of God status isn't handed out lightly. The local patriarch had to collect evidence for decades that Karam lived a life of heroic virtue. That's why the 2025 announcement is so significant. It's the culmination of over a century of local Maronite belief in his sanctity.
Which brings us to the formal administrative step, where the Vatican gave its approval for the cause to officially commence in November 2025.
Yes, and this step officially recognizes Youssef Bey Karam as a servant of God by the Universal Church. It followed a formal inquiry sent by the Maronite Patriarch Bachara Boutros Al-Rahi on June 27, 2025.
He asked if there was anything preventing the cause from opening, and the Vatican's response was swift
and decisive. The official letter from Cardinal Marcello Semeraro, dated November 5, 2025, stated explicitly, and I'm quoting here, "From the perspective of the Holy Game, See, there's nothing preventing the commencement of the cause for the beatification and canonization of the mentioned servant of God.
That is a massive affirmation. It's huge news, not just for the Maronite Church, but for Lebanon as a nation.
Oh, the reaction was immediate and deeply reverent. A mass of thanksgiving was held that very same day at St. George Church in Eden, where his relics rest.
And the next day, the church bells rang out.
The bells of the entire Edensgarter region rang at noon in thanksgiving. And they're moving forward with real intent. A solemn mass is already scheduled for December 6, 2025 in Skarta, specifically to pray for the progress of the cause.
So if we synthesize his legacy, he was a political idealist, a courageous military leader who sacrificed himself, and a man of faith who translated that belief into tangible action.
His life is this critical reminder that sanctity isn't just for the cloister. It's found, maybe even more powerfully, in the thick of political and patriotic duties, as long as those duties are guided by an unbreakable commitment to the gospel.
That powerful blend of public action and private prayer, it leads to a final thought for you to consider. When you look at Youssef Bey Karam's life, his unique blend of resistance and spiritual discipline, what element of his life, the battlefield heroism that saved his people, or the quiet, dedicated prayer and charity at the Villa Libanaise offers the most potent and necessary inspiration for your own walk today? Remember, you can honor his memory and his journey to sainthood by purchasing an icon or devotional image, such as the wooden plaque featuring the servant of God Youssef Bey Karam at rosaryteam.com. Thank you for listening to the Rosary Team Podcast.